Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to tackle one of the oldest and you could say biggest pursuits of the human mind, and that is philosophy.
All right, so let's just jump right in with a question I bet you've thought about. Are your choices, really free? I mean, are they your choices, or are they just the result of a bunch of chemicals firing in your brain, plus, how you were raised? Science can explain all the mechanics, right? But that opens up this even deeper question about accountability and freedom.
And that right there is the kind of journey we're on. It's one where we question everything we think we know, where we really try to see the world as if it's for the very first time.
See, it's these kinds of questions, like, if all my decisions are just a result of my brain chemistry and my upbringing, are any of my choices actually free? That really push us past just observing things and into the world of philosophy. So, where did this whole way of thinking even come from? Well, it all goes back to ancient Greece, somewhere around 500 BCE.
The word itself is pretty cool, philosophia. It literally means the love of wisdom. And it really was a brand new way of making sense of the world.
What these early thinkers were doing was making this really important distinction between mythos, which is explaining the world through stories and myths, like what Homer did, and what they called philos, which was a much more analytical, scientific way of looking at things.
Back in the day, philosophy was kind of the study of, everything. Biology, physics, math, you name it. But as those fields grew and became their own disciplines, philosophy kind of found its niche. It became the place to go to think about the big questions.
All right, so let's explore these big questions. Philosophers have basically organized them into three main branches, which you can think of as, different territories we're going to explore.
And the first one deals with maybe the most fundamental question of all. What is the nature of reality?
This is a branch of philosophy called metaphysics. It's all about trying to understand the fundamental nature of the world, the universe and what it means to be. It's about what the world is really like, beyond what our senses are telling us.
So, metaphysics asks these massive questions like, is the world just made of matter and energy? Is there a God? Do I have some kind of immaterial soul?
Okay, so once you start asking what's real, the very next question that pops into your head has to be, how do we know any of it?
And that leads us straight to our second branch, epistemology. This is the study of knowledge itself. It's like thinking about thinking, or knowing about knowing. It questions how we know the things we claim to know.
So this branch really gets you thinking, right? It asks stuff like, is the world really what I think it is? Or, could I be in the Matrix right now? What's the best way to figure out what's true? And can I ever be 100% certain about, anything?
And that brings us to our final big branch, which is called value theory. This one is all about what we do and what really matters in life. So a big part of this is ethics. And ethics is about how we should live with each other. It asks these deep questions about what's right, what's good, and what our obligations are to one another.
And the other piece of value theory is aesthetics. This is the study of beauty and art. It asks things like, what is the beautiful? Does it actually exist on its own, or is it totally subjective?
Okay, I know, that was a lot. Metaphysics, epistemology, ethics. It sounds pretty tough trying to navigate all that. But don't worry, philosophers have this one amazing tool that helps them out.
And that tool is logic. Now, logic isn't about asking the big questions itself. Instead, it gives us the method for finding clear, solid answers.
Think of logic as the rules of reasoning. It helps us ask clear questions, build really strong arguments, and maybe most importantly, avoid all those common fallacies or traps in our thinking. It helps us reason things out step by step.
So here's the best part of this whole thing. You're already a philosopher. Seriously, you've been doing this all along, probably without even realizing it.
I mean, think about it. Anytime you argue with your parents about what's fair, anytime you wonder if you should date someone, or you decide to eat a salad instead of a Hot Pocket, you are doing philosophy. You're figuring out what you truly value in life.
Because really, the whole point of philosophy isn't to memorize a bunch of facts someone else came up with. No, it's about learning how to think. It's about using these tools to figure things out for yourself. So,
What big question are you gonna ask today?